Okay. Oops. Get that off there. All right. There it is. Bag of rocks. Okay, God knows how empty that is. I have a little table down here. Not you. I need a table. I can use the stool. Make it work. Yeah, that'll do. Too much. Better. Oh, hey Anna, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Should be a good stream today. Gonna do some different stuff today. I got some prep work to do. Sharpening a gentleman's knife today, who asked me to sharpen a knife for him, and I am getting some things ready because my grinders be here. Yep, Mr. Poopy Butthole's back there as always. He's hanging around. So I hope my stones are in water, which they are. Very cool. All right. So, why are you sad? What's the matter? Oh, that's no good. Is there something on your mind or something bothering you? A little spray bottle down here. Spray bottle. Oh yeah, spray bottles are over here. Usually, when something's bothering you, you try talking to somebody about it. If it's making you lose sleep, or it's hard to tell sometimes. I can't. I'm not much of one diagnosing bad sleep. I don't sleep very well most of the time myself. But if something's on your mind, sometimes that can have an effect. Or try melatonin. That does help. Try taking some of that. That's a pretty good natural supplement that can help you sleep. But it's hard for me to say. So don't take my advice for what may be wrong with you. But if something's bothering you, usually it may be a good idea to sort it out and figure out what's going on, and that may help you. Yeah, unfortunately, kind of an unnatural blue. Well, I'm sorry you don't have anybody to talk to. I wish I could help you. I mean, I can always chat here as much as you want. Yeah, this blue is all painted on blue, unfortunately. So I'm a little worried about getting it on my stone, so I hope I don't. Turn my friend's kitchen knife here into a razor blade, I hope. This is the ASMR section of the stream. For people who like sharpening, this is the part people are really going to love. I haven't done stonework in a while. Come on, stool, settle down. Yep, see, there's that blue crap coming off. Just like I was afraid of. As long as it doesn't clog my stone. So this is a friend's knife. He wanted it sharpened because it's dull as all hell. So I am sharpening it in the traditional stone method. So it's the way I prefer to sharpen a knife and get a really good edge if I'm not doing like bulk sharpening. So this gets a really good fine edge. I go through several stones that I have here. I have a whole bunch of stones in this bag that's on the floor next to me. And so I'm going to take it from one grit to the next until we get a very, very sharp knife. That's the idea anyway. Let's see. Squirt bottle sucks. That's a little better. tip a little bit more. Still a little bit of work to do on the tip. But this is the traditional way to sharpen. Most of the sharpening I'm probably going to do here in the shop is going to be done on the grinders. So that's probably what I'll be doing most of the time. But when it's just one blade that somebody wants me to do, I'll usually just do this because it's a knife that he really likes. So it's not a bad blade. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the blue paint, but no, I don't think I'm gonna do any welding today, unless I can find something to weld. But I don't think I have anything on the agenda to weld, sadly. There's a low spot right there. Yeah, people like the sound of the sharpening. So the sound's going to change as I go through this. This first grit stone is a little coarse. This is what is it, 280 or 240 grit? So this one, yeah, 240. So this is a 240 grit stone. So these are going to get progressively finer as I go. So I'm going to go to 600 now. Actually going to try to take some of this stone off here. This will clean up the stone for me. A little bit anyway. This is actually a water stone. A lot of people call them oil stones. But I recommend water stones myself. I like the way they cut. I like the results they get. So, personally, I'd stick with water stones. Oil stones are good in a pinch, I guess. But I think they clog up a little bit easier too. So, but you'll notice the sound as I go will kind of change. The sound will get lighter and a little more glassy, I guess is the way they define the sound. Is it starts to really get... as the stones get lighter and lighter as I go, until they almost sound like they're not doing anything. Hey Walt, how you doing? Cleaning a clogged stone really depends on the stone. If you have an oil stone that's clogged, you have to break the oil down. I recommend something like a simple green or a strong soap to break the oil down and break out what's in there. But a lot of sitting. You can also take some of the surface off with like a dressing stone. You can get usually you get them from for like grinding wheels, but you'd get like a dressing stone, and you could take off some of the surface. Sometimes with like a more coarse stone. So like a lot of times to make sure your stone's flat, you would you put like grid lines on here with like a pencil, and then you take a bigger stone and you kind of rub it around on there, so you would take a big flat coarser grit and you would rub it on the other stone, and take off that top surface to take off anything that's clogged, and then usually that'll give you a fresh surface to work on. And I'd recommend that regularly anyway if you're sharpening, if you're sharpening stuff that's, got a higher chance of clogging, like a softer steel. You'll leave a lot more residue, especially in your finer ones. So normally with water stones, you'd want to leave them soaking pretty much all the time. So like mine are sitting there, they're down there on the floor in a bag, but they're in a bucket. They're basically in like a water box, and they're just sitting in there. So they stay wet, so that pulls all of the filings and all that stuff out. So it just comes out of the stone, and keeps it better. So, and then when I have an issue, I just redress them with a little grinding stone, and it kind of gives me a fresh surface. I mean, these aren't really expensive stones either, so they don't they're not perfect, but decent stones will last you a while if you let them. Okay, so that's the 600 right there. That's slightly finer grit. I'm going to take this down to actually 8,000 grit. So I'm going to step up to 1,000, actually 800, then 1,4 and 8,000. So yeah, it's always good when you're done to try to just hand rinse the stuff out to just get the extra stuff in there that's clogged in. So 800. So for anybody who isn't too familiar with sharpening, to understand what sharpening is, it's not getting a sharp knife isn't just about getting an edge on the knife. Now, that's the first step. So you can take the 240 grit, which is on the bottom of this, and you can, or any stone, one, little whetstone or whatever you pick up at the store, and that'll kind of give you an edge, and that'll put the edge back on the blade and clean it up and give you a little bit of a feel. But if you want true sharpness, that's when you need finer and finer and finer grits to make the blade that much better and sharper. So as far as cooking in a kitchen, you'd always want to take your blade to the finest grit you can. So, when you see a basic standard blade, or stone, little things you find at Walmart or wherever, they're great stones to have in a pinch if you've got a little knife out in, I don't know, for camping and stuff like that, because you're like, oh, it's really dull and I need to sharpen it up, and you rub it across the stone, and it's great for that. It's perfect for that. But if you want something in the kitchen, and believe me, I'll show you. So, well, I'll dry this off right now. It's probably got the wire on it. So let me see if I can strop this a little bit and dry it here, and we'll see. So you'll see how it's starting to get a bit of an edge. So even just taking it down to 600, now it's cutting, it's digging in, but it's acting like a saw still. So it's not clean. It's not making a clean cut. So that's what I need to get rid of. That's why 600 is not going to work. It's kind of digging in and gouging into the paper instead of cutting clean. So as I take this down and I test it on that paper, it's going to cut cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And it's probably still got a little bit of wire left on it from the actual sharpening process, which will go away as time progresses here. But yeah, the stones, they get progressively quieter, and that lovely glassy sound that they get as you go on. So as I've learned, the best way to use your stone is to try to use as much of the stone as possible, which slows the process of rutting your stones, because if you just hammer in one area, you'll have a real tendency to just put a rut in your stone. They're always going to get a little bit of one eventually, but the best thing to do is to make sure you're trying to use as much of the stone as possible, and that keeps your stones flatter, and you don't have to reprofile them all the time. Fortunately, I don't have to because I don't do as much stonework anymore, but feels good to kind of get back at it. So what you basically do once you start taking a blade from from an edge, basically what I'm doing now is I'm polishing it, and that's what really makes the difference between a like a knife and a razor's edge is the polish that it has. So that 8,000 grit stone that's down there isn't taking off much material at all, but it's putting a very, very fine polish on the edge and making it much sharper. And that's what makes it glide through things. So just having a stout edge is great, but on a microscopic level, the first stone really makes it look like a saw more than a knife. So that's why you want to keep sharpening to get that super fine super fine polish on there. Looks pretty good. Feels nice all the way down. So now I just went down to the 800, so let's see how it starts to cut now. Hopefully a little better. So now just that easily, just down to the 800, it wants to dig in, it wants to just slide through a hell of a lot nicer. So that's a bonus. So as we start to take it down, it's going to have less and less resistance as we move on through the grits here. I'm going to go to 1,000 next. this stone is taking even less material off, but it's putting a much nicer polish on the edge. I do have to get a better polish here right near the handle. I can feel that catching a little bit. Secure the stool. Forgot how long hand sharpening takes. Been so used to doing everything on the grinder wheel. It's almost like, oh man, go back to the dark ages again. There we go, that's coming along nicely. Got a hell of a nice edge on it, I gotta say. It's not a bad blade. I didn't actually get a chance to look this up yet since I got home, but it seems like a pretty nice piece of steel. This stainless seems to be pretty nice. All right, and I'm just gonna, what do I have here? I forget what grits I have. We got 1,000. I'll just go to 3,000. I don't use the 3 too much. I do like the sound of the lower grit, the higher grit belts. They just have such a smooth and fine sound. I don't know, there's something about them. See if I can keep the mic nice and, actually, let me see if I can bring the mic around to keep it a little closer here. I'll be a little bit more distant, but hopefully you guys will be able to hear sharpening a little bit better. Let's see if this works. Ooh, don't point that at yourself, idiot. No, this is my friend's knife. I'm just sharpening it for a friend. He just asked me to sharpen it up because it was very dull. So he wants to be able to use it in a more regular capacity. bit of a low spot where he must have been sharpening this. I kind of saw it before. There's a bit of a weird low spot. Sorry, I got to talk to my crotch. But without doing a ton of reprofiling, still coming out quite sharp. Very sharp. See how it's moving along here at the 3000. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it cuts very nice. A little rough here in the front. I didn't strop it, so that's probably not helping. Really shouldn't keep using this to strop, but not helping. What is going on down here? Maybe I should just do this on the grinder. Not real happy with the edge I'm getting right now. Well, it's not good yet. I'm not really happy with it yet. I'm having a little trouble close to the handle here. I don't think it's ready. I think I might have to use my grinder on this one, which I wasn't wanting to do today, but I might have to. Looks like I might have to just relegate this to grinder work and get the edge that way. So I'll do that with that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me bring this back up. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to probably finish it on the grinder. I'm going to do the rest of the work on the grinding wheel. Just because I've gotten a lot more used to that. So I'll do it there. Okay, put this away. I haven't actually used the stones in months. So put these away so I don't do any more damage. Okay. So many bits and pieces. Go. All right, we are back. Sorry, I got an email here. Okay, no worries there. Get that email done. Cool. So, let's see. I will finish that later. Now I need to get a couple things assembled over here tonight. My grinder has officially shipped. So I need to get this whole area 100% ready for when it gets here. There's a lot of things I want to do and that I want to have access to over here. So, like my square, I need some nails. There we go. Use the white ones. See them better. So I want to get my little square hung up in the ceiling here for squaring things up when I need to. So I'll put that up here. Now hammers, that's easy enough to find. All right, where do I want this thing? A little higher. Yeah, right about there looks good. Okay. Come on, go in there. Okay, there. Can I make a fork? I have not tried making forks. If I was a better blacksmith, I assume it would be possible. But in theory, one could craft a fork with mild steel. But I don't believe I could, unfortunately. I'm a little limited on tools and stuff like that. So, as far as like blacksmith tools, making things like that would be very. I would need kind of specialist tools. I mean, it's probably possible, but the issue with the tongs would be a problem. I think that would be an issue because I don't really have any kind of good chisels for that. And like stamping that out would be very, very hard. Plus, I don't have stainless steel. So without stainless steel, it would rust. So I wouldn't recommend making a mild steel or even a high carbon steel fork. Most forks are usually made of stainless steel or are silver plated. So unfortunately, with regular mild steel, most foodstuffs, you don't. You can make things with high carbon steel as far as knives go, but you have to make sure that you keep them dry, or else they'll rust. So they have to be kept. As soon as you're done with them, you wash them, you dry them, things like that. Yeah, well, I'm not really much of a blacksmith. I'm more of a bladesmith. So actually, excuse me one second. I'm getting this congestion, so give me one moment. A little bit of a cold. I'm still shaking here, so. But yeah, I'm not really a blacksmith, so I enjoy doing the knife stuff. That's why I was doing these guys the other day. I mean, just for fun and practice. These guys are fun. Doing the railroad spike blades. They're a lot of fun. I'm not grinding them because my other grinder's over there, and I'm not wasting belts on these because, again, they're not really good blades. They don't really hold an edge. Not like the good steel does. So, unfortunately, it's. I'm just going to put these on hold for now. I've done enough of these things. Probably put these across the room here. These were the ones I did on Thursday, so put these in the maybe pile here. The maybe bucket. Yeah, well, I enjoy doing those. Doing the rail spikes is fun. It's good practice because the steel is softer and much easier to move, and it lets you kind of learn. They were what I learned on. I had those, and I didn't really have anything else when I first learned how to do this. So I learned to work with that steel, and it was it was very easy to learn to work with. So I'd recommend it for anybody just starting out is to use railroad spikes, because you don't have to kill yourself, hammering the crap out of it to get it where you want it to. So yeah, I'm not 100% happy with the way this blade is. It's not sharp across the whole thing. The middle's very sharp, but I'm gonna have to do this on the grinder. Yeah, still a little wire on there, but we'll get that. I don't feel like bringing that whole thing out tonight. I have it set up over here so I can still use it when I need to. So I'm just going to do that tonight off air. I'm just going to do it by myself and just get it done, because nobody really is interested in watching me grind one knife. But I'm going to do it on there and get a really good edge, and probably try to seed a nice, really fine edge on this thing so it'll cut really effortlessly. That's the whole idea here. So that'll be next. As far as the rest of the stuff I need to do down here, all things considered, my grinder should be here by Monday or Tuesday of next week. So that should be here. That's going right there, and I'm going to be using that thing. That'll be Monday for sure. Well, or if it shows up on Monday, I'll be streaming on Monday. But if it does, I'll be streaming right there. I'll be working hopefully all night to get it up and running. So it's not too bad. It's got a little bit of hint of green in it. I don't know, how's it come across on here? Oh, it's very blue. It's got a little bit of a hint of green on it in real life, but the camera is giving it a little bit too much blue, I think. Try to get to a spot where you can actually see it. But yeah, that's a little closer. It's a very deep blue for sure. But the camera is kind of tricking it a little bit. I've had a little issue with my white balance on this thing, but it comes out pretty close. It makes me look a little pink, but I'm I'm dealing with that. I guess one thing I want to try to learn how to do is blue a thing. So when you work on blades, you can actually blue them other than the chemical bluing. So this is the thing that I have called Super Blue. This is a liquid cold bluing thing. It's too bright to really see the wording on there, but there is wording on there, I promise. And when you paint this on, it basically turns the thing black. It gives it like a sort of rust coat. It's almost what it is. It is a type of rust. And but you can also do it with heat. You can heat blue, and but the only problem is if you take it to blue, you lose too much of your heat treat, so the knife becomes very, very soft. So that's why you paint a color like that on, or you anodize it or stuff like that, which I don't have the tech for down here, unfortunately. But you can use like a coating thing. I've seen like you can put like an anodized coating on there, things like that. I should be having a new wall mural soon, too. Commissioning a gentleman that I know. He's going to be putting a mural up here on my wall, probably like this whole area over here. So he's going to be doing a really nice mural for me. We are currently discussing the details of said mural to see what it's going to look like and what kind of ideas we want it to be. So he's working on that. So that's going to be fantastic. I'm going to have a really nice mural up here. Really just make the room look good. It's going to be a little bit for the stream, but a little bit just to make the basement look nice. What is this? I'm going to touch up a couple of these spots from when I was painting that are bothering me. Oh, I hate these things. These lids on here. There we go. Couple spots that are bothering me that the brush and stuff didn't get into when I painted down here. That's a little better. But it does look way better down here than it used to. Now that I've painted everything and this room's coming around, it's unfortunately I'm just kind of stuck in a spot where I just need to get everything kind of going here. All right, let me see. Okay. Sorry, just had to adjust some things here on my Twitch. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I need to get done today. I have a lot of stuff on the list. I know once it gets here, I have some knives I want to do, but maybe I should just work on a knife today. I can sharpen this other knife. Maybe I'll just do that now. I don't know if I can, how far I can bring this table over here to put myself back in camera. Let's see if I can get this thing slid over a little bit here. God, this thing only weighs like 1,000 freaking pounds. Okay, this will give me a chance to get this thing all sharpened up, so why not? Let's get it done and out of the way now. I got belts, lots and lots of belts. So, all right, I need my earplugs. These are always helpful. This thing, it's not super loud, but it's loud enough. So I'm actually going to turn down the mic a bit so it's not super bad. Right about there. Now I'll plug this in somewhere, probably below. Let's see now. What do we have here? Where do each of you go? Let's just go to. Goes to. Okay. So let's undo that real quick. I got some extra wires under here that I got to sort out. Got too many wires under here, probably. Not a lot of wattage, or yeah, not a lot of wattage. So I'm not drawing a ton of amps, but what we need to do is we need to sharpen this blade up. So let's start with, sounds like a good number. 320? 320 sounds like a good number. I like that number. So I apologize, I'm going to have my back to you guys for some of this, but I will check the chat regularly. I just want to get this thing done. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I am still going to pay attention here. I just have a blade for a friend that needs to be sharpened, and my stones are not having any part of it, unfortunately. It's been a little too long. I've been a little out of practice, so we're going to turn this thing back into a razor blade for anybody who's out there who hasn't seen it. This is what we're doing. It's just a friend's chef's knife that he likes, so I'm not judging as far as what the blade is, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty good steel. Come on, baby. Go up to speed. There you go. Ooh, light. I got light right here. Look at that. Now we're getting somewhere. That's not gonna work. Those little light bulbs are there, but they don't do anything. It's not too bad. So we're going to make this bad boy sharp. One way or another, we're going to make this thing sharp. Like scary sharp. That's what I'm going for. Scary sharp. This thing gets tight. Okay, 320. Now we'll go to 400. Should be 400. Yep. Remember to fix my light when I'm done. And there go my cutters. Right off the table. Perfect. I like it. Now we just clean up the wire a little bit and we see how it's coming along. No, I'm just done 2 of them. Oh yeah, there we go. There's still some wire down here, so it's not clean yet. So when you sharpen, I'm only done 400. I'm going to take this down to 5,000. So when you sharpen, as you bring the 2 points together and you sharpen one side, what happens is you get a little bit of metal that kind of rolls up and away. So it kind of goes, there we go. It gets kind of away from the edge. And you have to kind of clean that up after you sharpen it up. That's called the wire or the burr. And you have to get rid of that to get a really good edge. So that's why I keep rubbing it on my apron, because that's called stropping, and that removes that fine wire that's on the blade. And this is a what? 600, okay. So now we're doing 600 grit. One at a time. There's the next layer. Now I'll take it down to the next one. It just keeps getting finer and finer until I get like a super fine polish, and then I can just cut through anything. Yeah, nearly anything. Maybe I should make myself a Discord channel. That'd be kind of cool. We got 800, and that goes this way. Today it is pink lemonade, or strawberry lemonade. It looks a little more orange on camera, but it's very pink. I don't know why my camera does not pick it up very well. That's an edge. That's what I was looking for. So there we go. So for anybody just joining, right now I'm working on sharpening a knife for a friend. He has the chef's knife that he likes to use in his kitchen. So I am just putting a very nice edge back on it for him. So we are almost done. That was the 800 grit. I have 1,000, 1,500, and 5,000 left before this thing is done. If you have any questions, if it is your first time dropping into the channel, please feel free to say hello. I do like getting to meet everybody who hangs out in my channel. I do like getting to meet you. I like getting to say hello. I appreciate all of you for stopping in. Especially you should say hi if it's your first time here. So right now, I do mostly stick to knives. I've been trying to branch out a little bit into the blacksmithing, um, but normally mostly knives. I have been working on some bottle openers as far as trying to branch out a little, but as far as what I make, mostly blades. I kind of wanted to focus, I guess, instead of trying to stretch myself too thin, learn too many talents, and go too many different directions, and have way too many tools. So instead of trying to learn to be a blacksmith and a bladesmith, I decided to stick with just the bladesmithing. So mostly what I do is just make blades. So I do have some finished blades that I make. My fun little chopper, which is over here, which I should actually probably be sharpening on the next grit, actually. But my little chopper, which was one of the first blades I made, 13 and a half inches, which is pretty nice. So high carbon steel, nice and sharp. Cuts a baseball in half, apparently. So it's pretty good for that. I mean, if you need to cut a baseball in half. But yeah, I'm starting to make some smaller stuff soon. Kitchen knives, things like that. High carbon kitchen knives. But I am waiting for a new grinder to come in, which should be in Monday or Tuesday of next week. So that's when things are going to get really interesting. So if you do enjoy the blade making process, I would say to follow and to check back in next week, because I'm kind of killing time for right now, because in about a week's time I'll be having the new grinder, and I'll be able to focus more, because I don't want to grind. I have some blanks and stuff that I have made, but I haven't, I don't want to like do the finished grinding on my bad grinder. I want to get a new grind. I want to use the new grinder, get a better grind and a better finish before I, turn out finished product. So I'm kind of in the waiting stages right now. So in about a week, I should do that. I have done that. I did do that on one stream a while back. With that, I actually cut it to celebrate getting my affiliate status, which I have since gotten rid of. But yeah, we cut a watermelon, or yeah, I think it was a watermelon. It wasn't a pineapple. I don't know, one or the other. I forget what it was. Yeah, we cut all kinds of stuff that day. Just about there. Now I gotta sharpen this big boy up. This thing's been a little overdue. I haven't sharpened it in a while. I don't even know if the 1500 is gonna do the work. I may have to go back down a step. Cleaning up all right. There we go, that gets the edge back. Well, if I had something to celebrate, I'll cut stuff in half. So I'll have to keep an eye on my YouTube and YouTube followers, things like that. So once I get some more followers on there, and maybe I get something as far as subscribers and stuff, You can sharpen a knife as many times as you want until it gets too small to sharpen. You just can't be too aggressive. If I use too rough of a if I used too coarse of a belt, I would take off too much of the knife. So when you sharpen, the best way to keep a knife from totally going away and sharpening it into nothingness is to sharpen it lightly and more regularly. Because if you sharpen it just a little bit more regularly with a very fine stone, um, you'll have a lot more luck of keeping it from getting small. If you wait until the knife gets really dull, you have to use a much coarser grit to bring it back to shape. So once you finally bring it back to shape, you've lost more knife. So the best thing to do that I would recommend is to keep it to sharpen lightly and regularly with, a finer stone or belt or whatever you're going to use to sharpen your particular blade. That is what I would do. It's not the best idea to wait for your knives to get super dull. It doesn't. It's not good for the knife. It takes more work. So. This final polish takes off the wire that I mentioned before, that little burr that builds up on the edge. This takes that off and gets it ready and really sharp. And super shiny. So now, I don't think there's any left, but give it a light little strop on the apron. And now, when I ask it to cut, it cuts with almost no effort. So the blade just cuts right through the paper. No problem. Push cuts. It's ready to go. It's all set. It's all sharp. And that's how you make a nice sharp blade. Get this thing all dirty. There we go. So we'll keep it nice and safe for the man. Keep it in its case. We'll put my lights back here. Okay. Well, let's put my table back where it belongs. That wasn't so bad. And I'll turn my audio back up in a moment. Oh, that's why this is so heavy. There's 2 freaking anvils on here. You dummy. Thank you. I do enjoy sharpening knives. I do enjoy getting them nice and sharp. It's a very satisfying feeling when you can use. Ow, this table's sharp as hell. When you have a nice sharp blade, it's a very, very satisfying feeling to feel it cut like that. Most people never get to cut with a really, really sharp knife, but that's part of the whole sharpening process. It's really so. Let me show you, for example. I have an old one over here somewhere, I think. I have this thing, but well, So I guess I don't need the physical example. But most people are so used to just having that standard sharpening stone that they get in the store, the gray stone. It's got two sides on it. You get it at Walmart. It comes with a little bottle of oil or whatever. And most people are used to having that thing, and they think that you could use that to get a knife super sharp. And you can get it kind of sharp. You can get an edge back on it, but you're never really going to get it like razor sharp. So to get it razor sharp, you need to take it to that finer and finer edge, like I just did. I took that down to 5,000 grit. Now, if you want to go crazy sharp, you can take it down to 20, 30,000. Some people do. I don't have belts that fine. I don't even know if they make regular sandpaper belts that fine. But 5,000 is really good for almost any purpose. It's not, I don't have anything fun I can really cut down here, unfortunately. But there's that's part of the whole process of learning to sharpen and getting a good sharp blade. That's what I wanted to make sure that when I do make people's knives and I make stuff for people, that knife is as sharp as it can be. To have that edge and to have that crazy sharpness, it is a cool feeling. Like if you can ever find a knife and you get a really good high quality knife and you get it super sharpened and you have that knife, it's a totally different feeling when you actually get to cut with it. It's such a pleasant feeling. Well, he's not strong enough to really hold a knife. Mr. Poopy Butthole doesn't really have. He's not very muscly, unfortunately. He's a lot of fluff, but he's just there. He just hangs out. He just keeps an eye on everything. That's all. I didn't want to hang him up somewhere, but he just kind of hangs out in the welding helmet. That's all. He just hangs out in the welding mask. But yeah, the other day I got to weld a little bit, but we'll see. This is the last welding thing for a little while. I mean, I could possibly weld something. I mean, I kind of could if we really want to weld. So basically, the next thing that I have to weld is I have to take these tubes, or a piece of this tube, this steel tubing. I'm going to weld ends on the top and bottom of them. Cut a piece off. So I'm going to cut a piece maybe that big, I guess. I'm going to cut a piece off that big. I'm going to weld the top. I'm going to weld the bottom. Then I'm going to fill it with what's in these two buckets. This one, which you can't see, and this one, which you might be able to tell what's in there. This is steel ball bearings. Basically, that's what they are, just steel balls. This is powdered steel. The two of these combined into the tube will make pretty much an airtight area inside the entire tube, and it'll just become a solid block of metal. So what I need to do is just make it and weld it all up. I mean, I could do it. I could do it tonight. I don't see why I couldn't. I mean, I could get started on it. I guess that could be fun. Could be messy, that's for sure. Let's see. I need the angle grinder. What is that on the floor? Oh, that's water. Okay, cool. That's just from that. All right, so I got my disc. I got this. Let's cut some shit. All right. Well, glad I turned the audio down because we're going to make it nice and loud again shortly. I'm going to turn the audio up. Probably should turn it back down. I apologize, headphone users. I'll get to that in a minute. Please remind me to turn that back up or down before I start this thing, or you guys will not be happy with me. This is the most awkward way to loosen a tool. There we go. Oh, are you leaving for the evening? Oh, okay. Well, have a good night. Hopefully I will see you on Thursday. I'll be back on again on Thursday. Trying to get some work done. Somehow. I'll find something to do. So, sadly you're going to miss the helmet today, but maybe I will weld again another time soon. Okay. All right. Alright, I need my markers or chalk. Let's try the marker for now. I really don't want to set stuff down on the ground, but I guess I will. That's how we take accurate measurements in this basement. It's a very accurate system. Don't knock it. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go over to the vise. I put a vice grip, a bench vise in here, which is nice. Now I can cut stuff off without having to hold it like an idiot. Oh crap. Plug's over there. Well, I'll just plug it in underneath. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to turn the audio down a little bit for you guys so I don't kill any headphone users. That should work. All right, we're going to cut this off here. Well, that's a terrible cut. All right, one more. Grinders. I think I'm going to need a new disc soon. Cut the other end off here. Okay. Uno mas. a way better cut. Oh, yeah, that's starting to chip. That's not safe. Ugh, smells like hell, too. Okay, let's put this back over here. Ugh, that stinks. All right. It's still quite hot. Right. Oh, that's hot. That's very hot, that one. Let's see, where's some pliers? That is not pliers. That is pliers. Cutters. Needle nose will do. Okay, let's see now. These suckers on here. Yeah, looks good. I gotta figure out how much of this I need to cut off. I probably shouldn't have put away my grinder, should I? Come on. Come on. This grinder's tight. It needs some oil. Ugh. All right, well, speaking of housekeeping stuff, I guess I'm going to do that. This vise is in bad shape. Let's get some lube up in there. There's the silicone. Lithium. Good for gears, yeah. Let's do lithium. That's a little better. Not perfect, but it'll do.